Hello. So today we are talking about the importance of stacking the deck, and I'll get into what that means very shortly. But first, a little preamble about why I'm talking about this. I have found in years of working with hundreds of women of color and non-binary people of color and training and working with people of color in general for so many years in different contexts of career and related to the workplace. I just think this is a really important topic that people tend not to tell us, and we have a lot of misconceptions about. And it's crucial, in fact, to getting to our various career missions, our work missions, our life missions. So that's why I'm talking about this topic. And so now let me break it down for you. First, stacking the deck was something that my very own career coach, Maya Heradat, who is amazing, the best business coach ever, I will say in my book, something that Maya told me, or like a phrase that she would often use when we were talking about things of like the importance of stacking the deck. So stacking the deck, I guess, I'm not a gambling person or whatnot, but I guess it comes from that, like where you're trying to like stack your deck with cards that are good for you or something, so that you have a good hand and you will win. So the idea in career is that you are, to me, I think of it as like putting as many kind of thumbs on the scale as you possibly can so that you can get whatever it is that you are going for, whether it's that promotion, that raise, that career change, getting your business to a certain level, whatever that is, right? So what does it concretely mean, though, the translation of it into career? Well, it means to me not putting all your eggs in one basket. So I see this all the time with women of color. They really want this specific job. They're very like laser focused on it. I love that. I love focus. I love goals. I love all of that. The thing is, if you are only going for the one thing and you've put all of your eggs in that basket, if that one thing doesn't work out for any number of reasons that are no fault of your own, where does that leave you, right? So not putting all your eggs in one basket. If it's a job search situation, making sure you apply to a lot of other jobs too at the same time, even if you think you don't need it. There's also other corollaries for like not putting all your eggs in one basket in career. Also, not self-rejecting and applying to things that you don't even think you have a single chance of winning or getting. I do that all the time. I do that on a maybe not weekly basis, but like several times a month. I apply to stuff that I'm like, I feel like I have no chance in hell of getting this. I'm going to apply anyway, because I sort of feel like it's that thing like, if you put a lot of feelers kind of out there, I feel like it really does do something in terms of tipping the scales in your favor, like in the universe, if you will. And like more people know you and they see your name. If you come up on this application here, maybe you don't get that, but like maybe that person goes somewhere else and encounters your name elsewhere, and then they're like, oh, they're more inclined to then pay attention to you, right? And that's sort of how these things work. It also means consistently building your network, and making sure that you are connecting with the right people, connecting with people at different levels, at different roles, people with different skill sets, different, I don't know, assets and resources that they can bring to your disposal, kind of. It also means being consistently visible. Oh, I didn't write this time. Consistently visible so that you can attract those sponsors and champions. And if you haven't watched my other YouTube video on be a moving train, attracting sponsors and mentors, sponsors and champions and stuff, like just check out that whole playlist about mentors, sponsors, and champions. It's very good, worth a listen for sure. They're all very short videos. And then, you'll get those people who are actually taking action on your behalf, right? Talk is cheap. We want action to launch you all to where you want to go. And it also means, gets into a little bit of a darker place for some of us. Being visible is also crucial, because if and when people come for you, which they will, it's just a matter of us being in the skin that we're in and living in the world that we live in. They will come for you, and honestly, when they do come for you, it's a bit of a like milestone, because you're at least visible and people, can see you, and then that's sort of when the coming for you happens. That's another story. You will then also have other people who have your back. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's counterintuitive, but the more visible you are, actually, the more kind of safety net you have, because other people will come to your defense. What stacking the deck can also mean is calling in favors when you need them. All right. Sometimes we like to kind of be invisible in our own space and be like, I'm going to do this on my own. It's, if you're a Black woman, you face like the strong Black woman stereotype or the trope, like that all that stuff is conditioned into you. I think it happens to a lot of Latinas as well. And then like if anyone comes from like an immigrant background or something like that, there is this burden of feeling like you got to do it yourself. Just grit your teeth and like grin and bear it or whatever these phrases are or whatnot, be strong, do it yourself, right? No, like these are also ideas that have been fed to us and kind of forced down our throat through all sorts of different means because they work to uphold the status quo. They work to maintain power where power is at. And that collectively, we don't have that power yet. So don't be afraid to call in favors when you need them. Be assertive, visible, and vocal, and invest in putting your best foot forward. And here's a couple examples of what that could look like. It might mean hiring the right coaches. Like, for example, I worked with a public speaking coach for several years. My very good dear friend, Rhonda Khan, highly recommend Simply Speech Solutions. That helped me be able to, even though I've always been good on a stage, like I've been on a stage since I was 7 years old. And I'm a bit of a ham, as you know. So, it wasn't like I felt like I was doing like an F job at public speaking, but I wanted to amp it up and stack the deck in favor of me so that I could do better and be at my best in this space. So I got a public speaking coach, Also, I have a business coach, Maya, right here. It also may mean assembling a support team. So therapist, healer, VA or a PA, virtual assistant or personal assistant, writers if you need them, could like look any kind of way, and also not overlooking the superficial. So I've also talked online vocally about how I've worked with a stylist before, Nana Badu of Badu Basics, because I knew that left to my own devices, I don't know how to dress myself. So, and in this world, these type of things, the visible, the branding, all of that stuff, it matters, even though I might not care about it, it matters to people. So again, stacking the deck. And similar to that, a headshot photographer. I have lots of great headshots that I can use for various marketing purposes because Nicole Espina, and now this feels like I'm just shouting out all my people, which they're all amazing women of color. Nicole Espina, based in Brooklyn, amazing, amazing, amazing photographer, used to work at Christie's, the whole deal. Okay, so some of you at this point are like, but Cynthia, isn't this cheating? Shouldn't I simply rely on my hard work, my grit, the strength of my work, let it speak for itself, all of that stuff, and not do all this extra stuff? Well, no. First of all, it's not cheating. Part of these things is just doing like your due diligence and being strategic and savvy, working smarter, not harder type of thing. So again, undo that white supremacy stuff for yourself, that anything good must come out of just endless suffering and grind and hustle. And number two, again, these are things that were fed to us to keep us out of certain echelons of society, of organizations, of decision-making power. And third and most important, I'm saying this to you and I'm being super unfiltered about it, frankly, because I believe, well, as my public speaking coach, Rhonda Khan, is fond of saying, the tech will fail you. And so the video cut me off right as I was ramping up to this part. But long story short is I trust all of you to take this information that I'm sharing with you and kind of answer this call to action that I'm pitching to you, because I believe that you, as a woman of color, as a person of color, acting within a mission, a vision, and set of values that probably overlaps quite a lot with me, I know that you will use this information and leverage it in right relation to you, yourself, our communities, and everything that we're working towards collectively. So that's why I'm sharing this. It's the same stuff probably that like white tech bros and I don't know, all the politicians that are effing up our society are using. But in your hands, it is different because you have a different mission, you have a different vision, and you have a different set of values. And I'm trusting you and I'm trusting those that belong to you. That's basically it. All right, now this is the most awkward ending.